You know that feeling when you're coding and you just feel stuck? Like you're typing the same thing again and again? Well, you're not alone. But what if I told you there's a way to do way more work with way less code? Today, we're going to talk about coding smarter, not harder, using a super powerful tool in Python. Okay, so let's jump right in with a challenge. You've just drawn this cool circle and a star on your screen. Now, the trick is you want to move them together, like they're glued to each other, following your mouse perfectly. How would you even start to code that? So your first instinct, right, might be what I like to call the hard way. You'd probably just tell the circle, hey, follow the mouse, and then you'd turn around and tell the star, okay, you follow the mouse too. And look, it works, but it's kind of clunky, isn't it? You're giving two separate sets of instructions for what really feels like a single action. Let's actually peek at the code for that. So inside our onMoveMove function, and remember, that's the code that runs every single time your mouse budges, we've got 4 lines of code. 2 lines to update the circle's position, and then 2 more lines to do the exact same thing for the star. See that pattern? It's so repetitive. This is exactly the kind of thing that makes code a headache to manage. So, how do we fix this? Enter the hero of our story, the group. A group is, well, it's pretty much what it sounds like. It's a collection of shapes that you can treat as one single thing. The best way to think about it is on your computer's desktop. You don't drag 10 different files one by one, right? No way. You just click and drag to select them all and then move the whole batch at once. That's exactly what a group lets us do in our code. And just look at the difference this makes. It's night and day. On the left, you've got our old clunky 4-liner. But on the right, that's the new code with the group. We just tell the group, we've nicknamed it G, to follow the mouse. That's it. 2 lines. We literally cut our code in half, and it's so much cleaner to read. And that is the magic of it, right there. We bundle all our shapes into one neat little package, this group, and suddenly it's a single entity. From now on, we just have to boss that one group around to move everything inside it. This is a total game changer for keeping your code organized. Okay, I know what you might be thinking. That's cool for 2 shapes, but is it really that big a deal? Fair question. So let's scale this thing up. What happens when you're not just dealing with a circle and a star? What if you've got, I don't know, let's say 7 shapes? 7? Just take a second and imagine going back to the hard way with 7 shapes. You'd have to update 7 different center X properties and 7 different center Y properties. That's 14 lines of code cluttering up your onMoveMouse function. Ugh, that's already starting to sound like a nightmare. But check this out. With a group, the setup is still super simple. We just list all 7 shapes inside of it, and here's the best part, the real kicker. To move all 7 of them, we still only need those exact same 2 lines of code we used before. It seriously doesn't matter if you have 2 shapes or 200. The code to move them all stays exactly the same. How cool is that? I mean, seriously, just think about the alternative for a second. Can you imagine writing and worse, trying to debug 14 lines of nearly identical code? A group isn't just a convenient shortcut. It's a fundamentally smarter way to structure your program right from the get-go. So let's break down why this really matters. First off, it saves you a ton of time. Obvious, right? Second, it makes your code so much cleaner. But here's a big one. It actually helps prevent bugs. Imagine you had those 14 lines and you forgot to update just one of them. The whole thing would break in a weird way. And finally, it just makes your code way easier for other people, and let's be honest, for your future self, to read and understand. All right, so you're probably fired up and ready to start using groups everywhere. Awesome. But hang on one second. Before you dive in, let's quickly go over 2 super common, tiny little syntax mistakes that trip up pretty much everyone when they're starting out. A quick heads up now is going to save you a lot of headache later, trust me. Okay, pop quiz time. Let's see if you're paying attention. Take a look at this code here. We're trying to make a group with a circle and a star, but something's not right. Something is missing. What do you think it is? All right, here are your choices. Is it a missing comma after the star? A missing comma after the circle? Maybe it's missing a closing parentheses. Or is it a trick question and nothing is wrong? Take a quick look, lock in your answer. Did you say it's missing a comma after the circle? If you did, you nailed it. Absolutely correct. This is like rule number 1. Anytime you're listing things inside a group, or really most lists in Python, you have to separate each item with a comma. Simple as that. Okay, you aced that one. Let's try one more, round 2.
Here's a slightly different setup. We're making a group. We've got our circle, we've got the comma this time, and our star. But wait, something still isn't quite right. What's the bug this time?
And here are the options again. What do you think? Another missing comma? A missing parenthesis? Or is this one totally fine? And the answer is, it's missing the closing parentheses. This is another one of those fundamental rules of coding. If you open something, you gotta close it. Every time you start with an opening parenthesis, you absolutely, positively have to finish it with a closing one. It's so simple, but so easy to forget. So let's wrap this all up. It really just comes down to 3 easy steps. Step 1, look at your code and find shapes that should act together. Step 2, wrap them all up inside a group function and don't forget to separate them with commas. And step 3, control that entire group as if it were just one single shape. That's really all there is to it. So I want to leave you with this question. The very next time you sit down to code, I want you to look at your project and ask yourself, what here could be a group? What could I bundle together to make my code simpler, cleaner, and honestly, way more powerful? Now go give it a try. Happy coding!